Hello, welcome to QA Tutorials. So in this video, we will talk about some of the Cypress advanced topics, something like Cypress configuration parameters, how to set environment variables, and so what are the options to take screenshots and videos in your Cypress test scripts. So if you are following my Cypress tutorials, this is next step from my previous video tutorials. So if you didn't watch the previous video tutorials, you can watch them before you go through this video, right? So let's talk about Cypress configuration parameters. So what are these parameters? Like Cypress has built-in timeouts and various settings you can control your Cypress environment through this configuration parameters. If you are running Cypress, you can see these configuration settings section. So you have like normally run your tests here in the test section, right? If you go to settings, so you can see this configuration tab, right? In this configuration tab, you can see various parameters, and Cypress reads its configurations from cypress.json file, and also there is, you can create a env file, cypress.env.json. So we'll talk about these env files later on, environment variables and all that in Cypress. That will be the next topic. So if you see these configurations, you can see like what is the default command timeout, right? What is the download folders, right? What is the env URL if you set some URL, right? And execution timeout, and so various timeouts are available, timeout and project ID. So all this video is true, screenshots and run failure true, like that, screenshot folder. So all these parameters you can control through this settings, configuration parameters. So these configuration parameters are stored in cypress.json file, and you can invoke, you can change the default values by updating the cypress.json file, right? This file is available in the root folder. So there are different types you can set. You can set default Cypress configurations by using a config file. That's what we talked, cypress.json. You can also set the configurations in the script, like if you call cypress.config parameter name and the value, you can set it, right? Also you can overwrite your Cypress configurations through command line. So when you're opening this Cypress, you can pass on -config and the name of the parameter and the value. So in this case, we are doing integration folder as Cypress integration-new example. So the Cypress code will look into this folder, new examples for the test scripts. So let us see what is there in the Cypress. So this is the cypress.json. So it has a project ID and the default timeout as 10,000. So if you update this, it gets automatically updated in the cypress.settings, right? This is 10,000, and there is a project ID SYH51U and the URL. So this is the environment variable, and the URL is pointing to this, so that in the env URL is pointing to this, right? This is how you configure Cypress for your test settings. So it depends on, like, if your page takes longer time, so you can increase the default command timeout to 20,000, or if your pages are faster, you can reduce this timeout. Like that, you can control different settings using these configuration parameters. This is a quick introduction. This is how you control your Cypress configurations. Let us see how we can set environment variables so that you can access those variables throughout all your scripts. So something like global variables, say like if we are testing one particular URL, we can set that URL as a variable instead of hard coding in each of the scripts, right? So Cypress provides a JSON structure called env, right? Env structure, and you can put key value pairs in it, right? So this env structure can be stored in the cypress.json file just we showed before. So you can create env structure and put key value pairs in this env structure. You can put as many values as you want in this structure, so you can easily read those values in your test scripts, right? So this is an example of a env structure with two key values. So if you call cypress.env in your script, it will return both the key values, right? But if you want to only retrieve one of the key values, you can just say cypress.env key 1. This is very simple way of setting your environment variables and accessing those variables in your Cypress test scripts. So let's take another example. So if you take like env URL as this, so the sample script will look like this, right? So you initialize your test suite and you initialize your test case, then do this ci.visit cypress.env and URL. So this URL will be replaced with this actual value from the environment. So this is a simple use of making sure your code is optimized and properly maintained. So when there is change in the URL, or if you want to test dev URL or production URL, you can simply change the value in the environment variable without touching your test script. So this is that will be easy maintenance if you have like multiple test cases coded for your automation test suite. You can easily update your URL using this environment variables. So that is the benefit, and you can also set these environment variables through export variables on the command line, right? So export Cypress access token Cypress EM variables, and you can access these variables in your script. Also, you can do same thing through command line, right? When you are opening your Cypress, you can pass --env and key value pairs and use the environment variables in your scripts. So this is about environment variables. If you have any questions on how to use these environment variables, put it in the comment section. So I will provide a detailed, I will answer your questions, right? This is how you use your configuration parameters and environment variables for better scripting. And also, Cypress provides default screenshots whenever there is failures in your test scripts. And also, you can also take screenshots whenever you want. So Cypress provides commands to take screenshots when a test case is paused, right? Or when you want to take test screenshots to capture the paused scenarios or something like that. So Cypress provides cy.screenshot, right, option command with different options. You can pass the file name where the screenshot will be captured, and different options are there. So by using the cy.screenshot, you can take the screenshot when the test case paused, in addition to the failure scenarios where Cypress will automatically take the screenshot failure scenarios. So in the screenshots, there is a naming convention how it names these screenshots, so that by looking at the file structure, you can easily identify whether a particular screenshot is because of failed or success, right? By default, say there are 4 options here, right? By the default, a screenshot gets saved to a file path relative to the screenshots folder, right? We specify this screenshot folder in the configurations. Suppose if you look at the configurations, so we can see screenshot folder Cypress/screenshot. So the screenshots will be saved based on that. Then spec path, your test case path, and test name.png, right? This is the default one. But if you want to name the screenshot, if you have mentioned any name, right, then name is passed as a parameter, is used instead of the test root or test name, right? So that will be specpath.name.png, right? If something a duplicate, it will put like numbering, test name 1, test name 2, test name 3, like that. It will do the numbering part, right? Suppose if it is a failed screenshot, right? So we'll use the default naming screenshot folder, specpath, test name, and failed.png, right? This is how it will be done using naming convention for the screenshot folder. So that way, you know, like you can easily identify where is your screenshot stored when you run your test scripts. Similarly, you can do videos as well. So this is the setting in configuration, screenshot on failures equal to true. If you want to switch off these screenshots while test failures, you can make this as false. So if we can see these settings in the here, screenshots on failure true. Similarly, you can also do videos of screenshots. There is a videos option in the settings. If you set it to true, it will also take videos while the test is running. So this is all about configurations, environment variables, and how to take screenshots in Cypress. I hope you got good information on various options available in Cypress. If you have more, if you have any questions, so you can put it in the comment section, and I can reply as soon as possible. So if you like this video, click on the like button, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel.